Hello there and welcome to the Bicycle Diaries and welcome to week 5 of my cycle training plan. Now, unless I'm very much mistaken, I think spring is definitely in the air. First of all, it's started to warm up a bit, so it's now about 10-11 degrees Celsius, plus the sun is starting to shine. So we've still got a long way to go, but at least the cold and the damp of winter is definitely behind us. That said, I've got just under 9 months to go before my big event at the end of September, beginning of October, and I've got about 8 weeks to go before I do my first milestone event, which is being able to do my first 100 kilometer ride of the year. So I'm still chipping away at the numbers on my base miles, so that still does mean that I'm riding at my home cadence of about 90 revs per minute and trying to keep my heart rate between 70 and 80% of my maximum. So the grand totals for the year so far are 311 kilometers ridden, 15.5 hours of seat time and 2,211 meters climbed. Unfortunately, I didn't do any vlogging whatsoever out on the road this week, and that's because I usually use my second ride of the week to do all of that. The first ride, I'm just kind of working out what I'm doing, and then the final ride, I'm just out to kind of do the ride and focus on that. But this week, my first ride was a 35 kilometre route out in the wilds of West Sussex. So I went up to Clanfield, into a place called Finchdean and Rowlands Castle, and I even rode down to Havant and came back on a Goldilocks climb that I do. And then, although the weather was fairly nice on Friday, I decided to do something a little bit different. Philippe from Kinomat very kindly invited me to try it all out, so I thought I would give that a go, but unfortunately I was having a few technical difficulties which hopefully I'll iron out in the future. But while I was out in the garage, because I couldn't get Kinomat working, I just ended up doing a Zwift session. And then on Saturday, I was invited out to meet up with a couple of my subscribers. So hello Stephen and hello Jonathan. It was absolutely fantastic to meet up with you. But unfortunately, on the way back, I did have a bit of a mechanical issue. Basically, I've either sheared my rear axle or I've managed to break the free hub. Basically, I was pedaling away, the rear cogs were going around, but the wheel was completely stationary. So I had to end up calling my neighbour and they very kindly came out and gave me a lift home. Now, if I was being positive about that, I would say that that's because of all the power that I'm putting through the back wheel, but that's probably just me being a bit of a dreamer. Maybe the reality is a bit closer to me being a bit too heavy and just breaking that wheel. I'm not going to know completely until I have a look at the wheel and find out exactly what's happened. So taking all of that into account, this week's numbers are 80 kilometers ridden, 4 hours of seat time and 555 meters climbed. Now obviously that's far less than I ridden last week. Last week I rode 100 kilometers and this week I should have ridden about 110, 115. So I'm way down on those numbers, but hopefully I can make it all up next week. Consequently, yes, I do now start to feel that I am a little bit behind schedule, so I think the strategy might have to change a little bit. So I think I'll do kind of 30-35 kilometer rides a couple of times this week, and then I might try and go out and do a longer ride, say 50 or 60 kilometers when I've got a bit more time. The big news this week is that Chris and Vicky Baratherton at the pyrenees.cc have very kindly invited me back to do some more cycling in the south of France. Now, if you're a regular viewer of this vlog, you'll know that I was there in early December and we did some absolutely amazing rides, including one that crossed the border over into Spain, and we had a very nice steak down there, and another ride that took us up to an absolutely stunning gorge just near the town of Amélie-les-Bains. Chris and Vicky have extended the invitation to the viewers of the channel here as well, so if you'd like to come down and join me, I'll be there between the 7th and the 12th of May 2020. We'll be going out, we'll be doing 4 days of cycling, and that may well include going into Spain again and actually doing that absolutely amazing gorge. If you'd like more details, then contact the pyrenees.cc, and I'll leave all of their contact information in the description below. So the plan for next week is to keep working on my base fitness and just chipping away at those numbers. I'll also be having a bit of a think about what comes next, and that's obviously to work on my speed and my endurance, but I've got a little while yet, so I don't have to worry too much about that just at the moment. Thanks for watching.